It's Matt Mosley Show, and it is Tuesday, 1 o'clock or a little bit after, and we'll take you to 3 o'clock today. In fact, at about 2:25 or 2:30, we've got a really good, one of the top young beat writers in the game. It covers the Cowboys like I used to do back in the day on a daily basis. Nick Harris from the 4-Star Telegram. That'll be fun, and he is going to join us. Scotty Swingler with me, as always. Been a very busy day for Scotty. Of course, had the Pete Souza show at 10, and then the rest of his day is spent getting ready for the Mosley Extravaganza 1 to 3 daily. And it takes a village. There's lots of moving parts involved and lots of egos involved. I mean, especially when you throw Pete Souza into the mix. Scotty, I want to start doing, we were doing some impressions the other day. The one that I've picked up on from Dave Aranda, I don't know if it's good or bad that I've included, is in the midst of his whispering, he likes to work in the and I don't know if it's a sucking on the teeth, the lip, but there'll just be a little bit of a smack involved. And yeah. It's kind of a reset that he does. And I find myself when I'm really reacting to games and doing one of those like post-game Mosley type reactions, I'll find myself, and I'll even do this occasionally with talking to my wife, and she's got to be thinking, what is he doing? Like, where is this coming from? It's an Aranda thing that I've kind of adopted. And I kind of do a little bit of a sucking of the teeth. No, you know what I'm talking about? He does that occasionally. Okay. How would you do it? If you were going to do the Aranda kind of that sound, how would you do it?
Well, I'll be honest, Mosley. I've talked to you a lot more than I've talked to Dave Aranda. So I kind of know how I would do it for you. I'm not sure how I would do it for Coach Aranda.
Wait, you say you hear me do it occasionally?
Yeah.
It's just kind of like and it's almost a reset. It's like I'm going to make a new point, or I'm taking just a breath here, and it's kind of like
that's way cool.
And Mac used to have a deal where he would end a sentence with right. The people that do that, right, or
I can be. That's actually a tick I have. I can be real bad about doing that, especially if I'm talking about something I feel very well informed on. I can be that way too, right? Like, or okay.
I don't like. That's a Mac thing. Mac will go okay. Right. And I really kind of got that down. And boy, my family gets so frustrated because I'll do it in a joking manner, but I'll just do it over and over. I'll go okay, guys, we're gonna go over to that game tonight. Okay. The other thing that was started in sort of an NPR type format, and it's your generation. I believe it is the millennials who brought us this.
Yeah.
But it also has infected those of us who are getting close to 50.
What's that?
It's beginning the sentence with so. La, 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 la. So it's kind of an NPR. It's for people that are pretty bright,
right?
But it's very annoying.
Yes,
and it's just the constant need to kind of go
It's funny you bring that up. So I'll have you know that I am tracking down the video of my best man speech for you. So I will share it with you when I have it. It was
nice.
Only captured professionally by the wedding videographer, which is great. That means it'll be good if we get it, but it means I may not get to get it. But I actually, when I was doing a mental rep of said speech, discovered that about myself. I realized I had started way too many sentences that way. And so I edited them. But to your point, it is a habit that most millennials, especially those of us who are used to talking on a microphone for a living, it's something we do a lot. If you went back and watched my last 3 or 4 episodes of Please Bear With Me, I don't know this, but I would suspect I've probably done it more times than I wish I had.
The other thing that even my age and older do that's slipped into the NFL because it comes from coaches. They like to reset conversations by saying, look,
Yeah.
look. And that's a big one.
I've done that one on Please Bear With Me for sure. Yeah.
Here's what,
or instead of look, I'll say listen. Like that's like the transition. If
listen,
I think I'm going to make a particularly poignant point, it's like listen, and then you run through your crap or whatever.
Yeah, but you see, here's the thing: you do have a quick mind, but you end up doing so much, even sort of off air, that when you're brought onto the air and you're not hosting the show, like driving the show like you are, Please Bear With Me.
That's
when
right.
You're on with someone like me, your brain, I've noticed you have to occasionally, because you're thinking about a million things. And so you have to buy yourself time. And so you will say things like, okay, Matt, or I'm going to so you're buying yourself time to fire up your opinion. It's there. There. So yes, I'm sort of a good therapist for people that are going through.
I don't know about therapists, but you're a good, constructive criticism partner here. I'm happy to take. So what are the fillers I use when I'm buying time? I'll
tell you when you do it, but it's just you sometimes you want to buy
I can
yourself.
Feel that happening in my brain. Like you're absolutely diagnosing the scenario correctly. But I don't know that I've noticed how I communicate through that necessarily.
Yeah. No, it's just like you just need a moment to gather yourself. So in that moment, you use some filler phrases or words to buy yourself a second, and then boom, you launch into it. So anyway, I've been.
Please bear with me while I buy myself a second.
Right. That's right. And fortunately, I have no verbal tics, or I never make mistakes, and so
you're right.
I can just criticize at will. No, I like to give people feedback if they want it, generally. And occasionally for young. Now, the great thing, Scotty, that you have that not all millennials have is, for the most part, you at least took enough English classes, or you paid attention to in your grammar. I would say your age grammar is not. Again, I'm not saying people my age all have perfect grammar, but back in my era, we were paying more attention to that.
Back in my day.
Back in my day.
What we're doing
your age is you're not learning cursive, and you're not really learning
what does cursive
grammar as well.
What does cursive have to do with using correct grammar while speaking?
Oh, no, I'm not saying it does have anything to do. I'm just saying the things that are not. No. The things that are not really taught in school anymore is all I'm saying. It's not. I'm not saying they're related. Although my age, when we came into school, you learned cursive in like second or third grade.
Cursive and
arithmetic. Yes.
Back in my day,
by the way, I tried not to take any math at Baylor, and I had to take one class.
We talked about this.
It was FOM, fundamentals of math.
It was ideas in mathematics when I took it at Baylor. Yeah. No, I want to defend. I think most millennials, because I'm a younger millennial actually. So when you say like your age, millennials currently they're turning 30 this year. That's the youngest group, all the way up to like early 40s at this point. I would actually defend. I think most millennials. I think you're thinking of Gen Z, generally speaking.
You mean with grammar?
Every rule.
Grammar or what?
Like yes. Like I feel like I had to learn cursive in elementary school, but I feel like that was phasing out as cursive was fading out in typewriting, like true typewriting, not like on a typewriter, but like computer classes were phasing in, like as I was in early elementary school. So I feel like my generation was kind of maybe the pivot point. And Gen Z maybe is more guilty of what you're describing, though I think regardless of generation, how did we get into this topic? Is this a sports show? Regardless of generation, I think any of us who want to stand behind a microphone or sit behind a microphone for a living, practice and work on, proper speaking. I think even
I don't think it happens anymore, sadly. Yeah, and I hear it. Even
Faith Lynch's grammar is pretty good.
She's great. I'm not even. Let's stop localizing it. I'm saying on a national scale. You hear even like big time analysts still put a went when there should be a gone.
Oh, sure.
And the run, the ran, and it's just grating to the ear. But sadly, fewer and fewer people care. And so my sister at one point, because I was such a snob with it, gave me I think I had a T-shirt that said, and I stopped wearing it because then it felt way too weird and elitist or something. But it was a T-shirt that said, "I'm silently correcting your grammar."
That's awesome. See, I did not know that we were going to adopt the standing shot here today, which I'm going to need to adjust for your show because see, with Pete's show, we have graphics floating around up here. With your show, it's not so much. So I need to adjust the camera here to break. But I need to start thinking more consciously of what I'm wearing now that I'm like standing in a shot. This is just a tour T-shirt from 10 years ago, and the print's tiny, and nobody can tell what I'm wearing. I'm gonna have to be creative.
But nobody really cares what you're wearing.
But Matt, you know why I love this shot? Because you can see my Johnny Cash book that I got.
Yeah, I love that Johnny Cash. I was in the studio with you the other day, and I've put on a collared shirt today, although I may change later when we talk to Nick, if you'll recall. It is the Matt Mosley Show on Rogue Media Network. Now, tonight, this is a time of year I get so focused on college football and the NFL, and I'll talk all of that today. And we've got a huge Campus Confidential plan for you, and a lot of people like that because we get to hit on several different topics, including just a butchering of the AP Top 25. The Big 12 has disciplined an officiating crew. We need to hit on that story. That's a big one. But because this time of year, I still get excited when there's a pennant race, when there's some fun stuff happening with baseball, and against all odds, even with all these injuries, and whether it be Corey Seager, Simeon, just go right down the line. The Rangers have suffered, Evan Carter, tons and tons of injuries. And so they should, by all accounts, they should not be part of a playoff race, yet they are. And yet they're a game and a half out of the final wild card with 17, 18 games left. And tonight, the Mosley Show and the Rogue Media, representing Rogue Media Network, I will be at Rangers Brewers. And in case you've stopped paying attention to baseball, the best team in all of baseball happens to be those Milwaukee Brewers. The Brew Crew is in town. I'll be there, and we got a really nice situation tonight. I'm not going to be in my usual press box perch. I'm going to be in a perch where they deliver free food and drink to you throughout the game, and so that will be very nice. But I think it's fun when, on occasion, you change things up in a sport and a team that has not been, they've had their moments over the years, but let's not act like the Brewers are a team we constantly talk about and think about. Boy, they got a great rotation. They hit the ball extremely well. They're a very, very good organization. And they came in last night to start this set with the Rangers, and the Rangers blanked them 5-0. Jacob Latz goes out, pitches 5 2/3. Bullpen does his job. And these Rangers, I keep wanting to call this guy Scotty. This guy's last name is Hellman. There's a guy I worked with that covered the Cowboys, I believe, named David Hellman. This Rangers player Hellman is a rookie. They have another rookie named Cody Freeman. They have another rookie named Alejandro Osuna. They should be out of this race, and yet they've put something together here, and they've won 12 of their last 16 games. They're 12-4 in their last 16 games. With all these rookies running through here. Man, it's fun. And last night, Hellman, who had never come to the plate with the bases loaded, the young rookie, well, he did last night. And what did he do? Grand slam, left field, 380 feet. Boom, it's gone. It's gone. And the Ranger, and he drives in another run in the 7th. And the Rangers win that game 5-0. So I mean, again, I didn't sleep last night for some reason. I really need just tonight to actually go to bed at a decent hour. Oh, why did I not sleep well last night? Well, I think when if there's a movie you watch and it takes you until like 2 a.m, especially if it's a somewhat thought-provoking movie, and this it wasn't the deepest film I've ever seen, but it was enough to just kind of keep me up throughout the evening. And I might have slept from like 4 to 7 a.m. But that's about it. That's about all I got last night. And Scotty, I like to give you little things to, little assignments that you don't ask for, unsolicited advice, like as far as grammar and things concerned. But Apple TV, occasionally you get a brand new movie that'll go straight to Apple TV.
Right.
And last night I was like, I'm going to watch some of this. And the problem with me and a movie is once you commit to an actual movie, I have a hard time going, well, I'll watch the rest of that tomorrow night.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Matt. Can I tell you my least favorite thing about my generation is how many people are okay with stopping halfway through a movie. It drives me nuts. We are on the exact same team here. But go ahead, finish your story.
This was a Spike Lee joint. This is, I think the movie's called Highest to Lowest. Denzel is the obvious star of this movie. Also, the guy from all those insurance commercials where he's always creating mayhem. Like that guy is one of the lead detectives in the movie.
We need to spoof those commercials for a Matt Mosley promo.
That's fine.
I love those commercials.
Yeah. Well, he's in this movie as one of the lead detectives, and which is odd because you kind of keep thinking he's going to do a commercial or something. But I'm fascinated with both Denzel and Spike Lee. I haven't loved every one of his films. I thought the one he did, Klansman, was pretty awesome. I thought that was because that was based on a true story, and Denzel Washington's son, what's his name? David Washington?
John David Washington.
John David Washington was in that. I thought that was great. And I can't remember who else was in that. But
Keith Stanfield was in that one, wasn't he?
Yeah. Who was also in the TV show Atlanta, which I really liked on FX. Although it got a little bit out there even for, I mean, I like weird stuff, but by like the third season, Donald Glover was just like, he's like, okay, how bizarre can I make this? I'm like, okay, you finally lost me. But I think you ought to watch it, Scotty, this new Spike Lee joint.
All right.
And I like the fact that at one point it became cool to say, instead of a Spike Lee film, this is a Spike Lee joint. And now at the beginning of the movie, as they're introducing all the,
it says
who's in the film,
title.
it says, the opening title says a Spike Lee joint. Yeah. It's good. It really is good. It's just, it's an odd, I just think we're so conditioned when there's a kidnapping film, and I'm not giving anything away because I think in all the promos, there's a kidnapping that happens. But usually in a kidnapping film, I think back to Ransom with Mel Gibson. That was a famous kidnapping film where the whole movie is like procedural. How's Mel Gibson reacting? How's the wife holding up? What are the police? Even what are the bad guys doing? This is more about like the city and like what happens to Denzel when he's forced to make some decisions that could impact his financial world. And it's boy, from how this film is shot, is pretty interesting, pretty fascinating. So yeah, give it a.
You've got
this
me.
Is a okay. Good.
Denzel is enough to get me, but that description sounds good. Have you ever seen Prisoners?
With Hugh Jackman and
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
That's the kidnapping movie that I think is just outstanding. It's dark, like don't watch it if you've got a weak stomach, honestly. But it's Paul Dano's in that movie as well. That is a stellar film.
Yeah, I feel like Dan-O. Yeah, I don't want to give. Yeah, if people might want to go watch it, but it was just. It was. You're right. That one is kind of like, okay, what would a parent do? And let's push him, just shove him every which direction.
That is one film. There's a couple of these films that I really like that center on a father with a daughter that I've not watched since having a daughter because I'm worried I will react very differently. That's one of them. Interstellar's another one of them. I have to be a little careful. I need to make sure I have some emotional space. There you go. Now you can be my therapist, Matt Mosley.
Well, my wife has wondered why, like for a while, like every movie or series I was watching, why it needed to involve like a missing child. She was just like, what's going on with you? Why are you drawn to this? But there was this one French detective. I think it was called like Missing or something. It was so good, and then they kept him. He was a very famous like French detective sort of guy, and this guy was in a movie years and years ago with Meg Ryan, and it was the last before we lost Meg Ryan for a while. We didn't lose her; she's still alive, but she went away for like 20 years. But she went from like cute romantic rom-coms with, for years to this really weird film, and then she just disappeared for like 20 years. So it was odd. All right, that is you never know where the Mosley Show will take you. We'll talk college football. We'll talk some NFL. On an NFL nugget real quick that I wanted to share, Cowboys off today. We'll have Cowboys talk coming up with Nick Harris, Cowboys beat writer for the Star-Telegram. He's very good. And we're going to look at some different things with this Cowboys team. I just wanted to react a little bit to last night, Monday Night Football. First of all, for me, the only way to experience a Monday Night Football game now is through the Manning cast. It's just, and it can make like a 17-6 game watchable because they're having fun and they're doing interviews, and they had Randy Moss on last night. But last night was kind of fun because they get Randy Moss on for the fourth quarter, and that's really the only reason I was watching at that point, because it had been a boring game. J.J. McCarthy was not playing well. He'd thrown a pick six for the Vikings, and then suddenly the Vikings got it going in the fourth quarter, and a game broke out. And the game ends up 27-24, and the Bears collapse. And you got to feel a little bit, Scotty, for the Bears fans, because it's like, okay, we got this Ben Johnson. We've paid huge money. He comes over from the Lions. He's this great play caller, and they freaking melt down and lose that game last night. And whether love or hate J.J. McCarthy, and I know the people that believe that Michigan totally cheated to win their national title, which they did, by the way. I mean, like everything leading up to that was, and I mean, I think we've got major evidence that they were stealing signals and all of that stuff. But the guy won a ton of college games. In fact, he sat out last season with an injury. So this is the first time he had started an NFL game. Scotty, the last time J.J. McCarthy lost a game was to TCU in that semifinal in 2022 season.
That's right.
And, man, as bad as he was at times in that game, it just showed you when they started running the football and Aaron, what is that guy's name? Aaron Williams, whoever the Aaron Jones, running back, started having some carries and success. They had another running back who had like 50 yards in that game. And then McCarthy settled down and started ripping the ball in there.
Yeah.
That was fun to watch. But, Scotty, game management, our man Ben Johnson. See, if you're watching the Manning cast, that's one of the great things about watching the Manning cast is because Peyton is so smart and so quick that he always is on this. You've scored before the 2-minute warning. You've got one timeout left. You've got to kick this ball off either through the end zone out of bounds, something where no time can come off, where they have to run a play, and then there's a 2-minute warning, and they didn't get it done. It was a game management issue, and I don't totally blame the coach because he did tell his guy to kick it out of the end zone, but as Peyton was saying, Scotty, you got to do whatever it takes. If you don't think you can kick it out of the end zone, kick it out of bounds in the air. Let them have the ball on the 35 or 40, wherever you get it. It doesn't matter, because then you save yourself the time.
If Peyton Manning ever decides to give up broadcasting and get into coaching, the NFL's in trouble. That dude, I just believe wholeheartedly, would instantly be a top 3 OC, if not a top 5 head coach, like immediately. But I also only watch the Manning cast on Monday nights. But that's beside the point. Matt, I think this loss falls squarely on the shoulders of one person, and that's Caleb Williams. And I don't mean to rub it in, because I've been pretty down on Caleb Williams as an NFL prospect since I saw him in 2021 here at McLean Stadium, unable to throw for over 81 yards against Baylor. I've not bought him as an NFL quarterback. If you can't make completions in Ben Johnson's offense, you are not an NFL quarterback. And I saw it on Get Up this morning. They were talking about he had a 44% missed target rate last night, which was the highest in the NFL for the first weekend by a lot. And that's just overthrow, underthrow, miss the throw. And so if in that offense, which that offense is designed to give you mostly very easy throws, quick throws. And in the first half, you saw him do a little bit of it. Second half, Caleb Williams fell apart. Don't know how J.J. McCarthy's going to be as an NFL quarterback, but good for him taking advantage. But I think this is more, I think the Bears dropped this one, and I think it falls squarely on the quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, that is horrible. I didn't even see that number.
And I think I misspoke. It was like 22% for the game. It was 44% in the second half. He missed. He had a missed target, like didn't put the ball in a catchable place on 44% of his throws in the second half. Which again, in high school, you kind of expect it. When you're in the NFL, like to Dak Prescott's credit, right? Cowboys lost to the Eagles, but I bet his missed target rate was 3%, 5% the other night. I mean, he seemed to be putting the ball where it needed to be just about every throw.
I just think, boy, it's so hard. You go from college where your receivers are getting so much separation, and we see it with Sawyer right now. He's very accurate. Although, I mean, I guess if you're going to knock him, that would be the only
Warriors
thing
had some missed targets
you would say this year. But he's on his deep balls. Golly, I mean, especially when you on those have to have it throws.
Yes,
when you just can't miss.
He almost gets more accurate when the pressure's ratcheted up. It feels like
so true. And those PFF numbers just came through, and we'll get to Campus Confidential in a minute. But I thought those was, I mean, Prentice had like those receivers graded out like extremely well. And
credit to Spavital, man. I what would Baylor be without Jake Spavital right now? Like, I think that guy has really figured out how to make the most of this talent and get good dudes open and utilize Sawyer's strengths.
Oh, if not for Sawyer and Spavital, like Aranda wouldn't be around here to have a bad defense.
Might be right.
Maybe they'll get better, but I don't know. But to his credit, he doesn't really come across as a huge excuse maker, because the media the other day, our media friends, which we're a part of, were really like, Dave, is it hard with all these new players and transfers and everything? And I mean, the answer to that is, yeah, but every other team is trying to do that too and implement a bunch of defenders. So I don't really think Baylor can totally lean on that. I mean, if you want to lean on, there's a major injury that's been undermining some things, and it's Jackie Marshall, and he only got 6 snaps the other day with that high ankle. I mean, if he gets right, it helps the defense immensely. I mean, he and Keaton Thomas are the best players on the Baylor defense. And I mean, Tevin and Devin, I mean, Devin's really good too, but I think Jackie and Keaton Thomas are the best 2 players on the on the defense. So if they get Jackie right, that'll help. Now, Scotty has just put enormous time, dedication, with Pete just in his ear, like, do this, do that, please help me with this. Scotty's fought him off this afternoon, and he's put in tremendous work on Campus Confidential, and we will do that next.
When Central National Bank decided to partner with Baylor women's basketball, we didn't know exactly what that partnership would look like.
What brings you into the bank today?
For the last couple of months, I've been noticing a charge on my account, and I would like to block it.
I see. So you have a charge,
Yes?
and you'd like to block it?
Yes.
I think you should take the charge.
What?
Yeah, I definitely think you should take the charge.
I don't think you understand.
Sometimes you just have to take one for the team.
Is there a manager available?
We love that Coach Colin is all about the team. Once we get the vocabulary down, the sky's the limit.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor women's basketball.
I have Mac Rhodes, director of Baylor Athletics, on the phone. Mac, can you tell Peggy why she should take the charge?
Of course she should take the charge. Wait, are you at the bank again? And who is
Transform your workspace with Hanomi Ergonomics. From adjustable chairs to standing desks, we provide solutions for comfort and productivity, whether at home or in the office. Improve your posture, reduce strain, and work smarter. Visit us at hanomi.co today. That's HINOMI.co today. Unlock a world of convenience with Mosley Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. Each box is tailored to your taste. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. Unlock your full potential with Onnit, your go-to for premium supplements, fitness gear, and wellness essentials. Whether you're training hard, recovering faster, or just looking to feel your best, Onnit has the tools you need to perform at your peak. Visit Onnit, that's ONNIT.com, and elevate your mind, body, and spirit today. At Rolls Rolla, we don't just sell wallpaper, we create cohesive, cozy spaces. Our deep understanding of design means every pattern, color, and texture is carefully chosen to complement your home. Plus, we use advanced technology and water-based inks for vibrant, eco-friendly prints, ensuring a healthier environment. Visit rollsrolla.com to transform your space today. That's ROLLSROLLA.com today.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious. Find your blend at hempdelicious.com.
At Tusane's, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit Tusanes.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.
Ready to bring your vision to life? At Small Rig, every idea, design, and product is inspired by you, the creator. With our industry-first under co-design mode and the Dream Rig free customization project, we unite with global creators to turn big dreams into reality. Whether it's a cage rig or mount, Small Rig's versatile gear is built to elevate your craft. Small Rig, where your creativity meets our innovation. Go to smallrig.com.
Calling all Marvel fans, get Marvel Unlimited and unlock over 30,000 comics featuring your favorite heroes and iconic stories, all available to read anytime, anywhere. Whether you're into classic tales or the latest adventures, there's something for everyone. Don't miss out. Head to marvel.com/unlimited today and start your Marvel journey now. At Angel Bliss, we believe every parent's journey is a beautiful adventure. Our mission is to make it joyful and stress-free with thoughtful, safe, and innovative products. Born from a love for family, we promise peace of mind for parents and comfort for babies. From playtime to bedtime, every Angel Bliss product is designed with care, reliability, and a style to nurture the special bond between parent and child. Angel Bliss, creating happy memories, one baby at a time. Visit us at angelbliss.us. Angel Bliss.
It is Matt Mosley, the Matt Mosley Show on the Rogue Media Network. Tonight, Rogue will be out covering the Rangers. I'll be on the ground out there, and right now with Wyatt Langford, Jake Berger hitting the ball pretty well, and these rookies, Hellman, Cody Freeman, Osuna. This is the dangest thing we've seen. A team that really was left for dead, and its star players have either been underperforming or absent. Seager's been out for a while now, and he'll be out unless they make a postseason run. And yet they are challenging, and they play the mighty Brewers. That's right, the mighty Brew Crew come in tonight, and I will be on the scene for Rangers Brewers, and that'll be fun because, and again, they even think about some of the players they don't have in their rotation. Eovaldi out for the rest of the season. DeGrom's still out there battling. Latz has stepped up in a big way. Corbin's had a good season. This is a team that continues to fight, and so for all the downside and negatives this season, you got to hand it to Bochy for somehow keeping them in the fight. And despite, honestly, not really bringing in that much, even at the deadline, it's not like the bullpen help has been that effective or that efficient, although a couple of them have helped out. But I'll be all over that later this evening as I make my way out to the old ballpark. All right, it is Mosley Show, and it's time for something we call Campus Confidential. And Scotty has, when we do Campus Confidential, Scotty throws quite a few things from college football, college athletics. There it is. And I react to it. Scotty is at his standing desk today. And
maybe permanently, we'll find out.
The excitement, it really, when he's standing, the level of engagement is exciting, and we appreciate him for doing that. A reminder, by the way, the Green and Gold Game Day show before Samford, I believe, have we confirmed, Scotty, this is an 11 a.m. kick, is that right?
Yes.
So I will be there from 10 to 11 today for this one. But no, we'll be there. We'll all be on the scene. And the three of us, Scotty, Faith, and Mosley, will be out there doing our thing as we get you ready for Samford. This is not Stanford. This is for smart folks, though. Samford gets some smart people. They're in Birmingham. They come to town, and the Bears need to stay focused as they get ready for conference play and the excitement of Arizona State and all the things that'll be coming forward. In fact, Scotty, as we start Campus Confidential, we did find out a game time on that Arizona State game coming up in a couple of weeks, and that one is going to be at 6:30 kickoff. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
All right,
yes,
which means we'll be on the air at 3:30, and then, of course, from about 4:30 to 6, we'll really bear down on the game. But Scotty and his Bear With Me crew and everybody will be on hand about 3 hours before kickoff. That'll be 3:30 on the 20th of September. All right, Scotty, it's Campus Confidential time. What do you have for us?
It's time for Campus Confidential. Matt Mosley, you were the first person to alert me to this. There is an AP voter who is getting some notoriety today. Her name is Haley Sawyer. She is an accomplished athlete out of USC, is kind of how she has gotten her way into the media and earned her AP vote. And notably, this week she had Baylor ranked over Auburn, despite like Baylor ranked and Auburn unranked, despite Auburn beating Baylor by 2 touchdowns just a week and a half ago. She had Florida ranked and USF unranked, despite USF, as we showed you yesterday, kicking that walk-off field goal and beating Florida. And she has South Carolina in the top 10 and Vanderbilt unranked, despite the fact that against a common opponent, Vanderbilt performed much better. Now, couple of differences of opinion may be acceptable. However, a lot of people are unsatisfied. Here's what Sawyer said, Haley Sawyer, when she was asked to explain some of these decisions on her AP ballot.
What my votes are and what my process is. I wake up early in the morning after covering a game late in the night before. Don't want to go too much into my progress or process or logic, but I will say I appreciate everybody's interaction on social media and all of your feedback. There's tons of people that vote on the AP poll, and it's not a perfect system, but at the end of the day, no matter who you pick, it does even out because there's so many people who vote. And like I said, it's really fun for discussion. It doesn't, probably matter in the end, but I'm glad that people are having a really good time with it.
I think, Matt, what we don't want to hear from someone, by the way, I would like an AP vote. Can I have one? I would like one if the only qualification is we're here to have fun with it, and I'm not going to explain my thought process to you. A lot of people very unsatisfied with those remarks from Haley Sawyer. Mosley, you don't have an AP vote.
No, nor do I want one, nor do I ever. I don't like voting in any of the preseason when the Big 12 has asked me to do such. And the only thing I regret, I don't like any of that because I would actually have to turn it in. And then, if you mess one thing up or something, then now that's just idiotic. I mean, that just, her ballot shows how little some people care. And then her reaction is so flippant. It'll even enrage the already unhinged college crowd even more. So it's when you should lose your privileges. If you do something that, to your point, if you're a little off, or if and maybe you even get one chance, if you really screw something up and it becomes obvious you didn't watch the games, maybe you get a second chance. But your response of it all evens out, my ballot doesn't really matter.
Ballot doesn't matter.
That's bad. And she seems really nice and probably very fun to hang out with and visit with, but it's a bad look. Now I'll tell you this, Scotty, and I won't tell you who gave me the opportunity, but there was a member of the Waco area press years ago that tried to get a hold of me and pass along. And again, obviously, because we had a great relationship, he tried to pass along his Heisman vote to me. And in typical Mosley form, just didn't really get back to it. and so I missed the opportunity to have a Heisman vote.
Let me put this on the internet for the permanent record. Haley, if you think your vote doesn't matter, I will gladly perform the task for you. I love ranking things. It's something that really gets my juices flowing. I get really excited about it. I will take your AP vote. I will take a Heisman vote, and I will handle it with the care it deserves. Probably take it far too seriously, actually. So AP, there's my resume. Please send me the vote.
I used to be in charge of ESPN.com's NFL power rankings at times, and I think that just scarred me. I would either forget to turn it in on time, not compile them, it was too much. And trying to always turn, or even the morning news, I would forget to give my picks against the line. Or back in the day when I covered high schools at the Dallas Morning News, forget to pick make all my picks. But it was so funny how I never even thought that would be a big deal. And they used to have in the morning news, when newspapers were a bigger deal, they would have your picture with your picks in either college or NFL or high school, right? Over the years, I did them all. And people would be so excited to see me, like people from my hometown making my picks in the newspaper. And I never knew it would be, that big of a deal. But yes, I was so glad to be done with that. What else do you have for us, sir?
Matt, now that I'm standing for the show, I'm afraid I may have to get a little theatrical, and I'm just going to roll the tape. It's about 2 minutes. I think our audience in particular won't mind watching the tape, and then I'm going to react, and you are welcome to react as well.
Maybe I just have a different standard. I don't like them freaking moving the ball at the end. They're dropping back at the end of the half. Like, we're on the sidelines, me and John are saying, they'll take a knee here. They'll run the ball. They don't fear you. They don't respect you enough yet. And if that sounds like coach speak, then you have the wrong brain. They're dropping back against our starting defense. They're cutting our own line at the end of the half. All you young guys, just go back there and chill. I want my opportunity. Some of you guys will get an opportunity right now. I told you I don't care what the score is. I told you I care what the tape looks like. Did I trip when the ball was fumbled? No, I don't care what happens in the game. I want to see what the next play is. You have one half. Defense, you have one half. If they try to drop back and throw it, and that quarterback's not on the ground, I want new guys in there rushing. I want them hit. I want them never to say our name again. You believe the fact with 43 seconds left, they just gave us the ball back. They went down 33, and they're still dropping back. They had the balls to cut you. I thought you guys get the ball, you put it down and score. You made me put the freaking red and the white in. And you guys get in, you go play. I don't care what the score is. Troy told you shutouts are precious. We almost gave them a shutout. I want them I don't want them ever to say our name again. That's the killer instinct I asked about. Not what does my hair look like, what do I look like in the freaking mirror. I walk in here, guys in the mirror checking themselves out. Got a chance at a shutout. You guys got a chance of freaking hanging a score around here we haven't hung in a long time. We don't work hard enough to go take what we want? Go take what you want. You want to get in the game? DJ, you run your ass off on all those routes all week? Now you got a chance to get in the game, maybe. If your brother and your brothers will put them away. It's about time people say, I don't want to schedule those guys anymore. I don't want to play those guys anymore. And if my standard's too high, then leave. And if you're with me, go out there and do not, I don't want to see a smile. I don't want to see nothing silly. I want to see a bunch of guys locked in that wants to make a team quit. That they, I don't know why he showed you guys Bronx Hill at the end of it. You know what he said to that guy after beating out that biker gang? He said, look at me. I did this to you. He wasn't scared to make sure that guy knew who he was. I did this to you. When you're shaking their hand at the end of the game, they better have that look in their eye. You did it to them. It's supposed to be 33-0. It's supposed to be that score. Now, what's the second half supposed to look like? I'll see you guys on the field.
Matt Mosley, I'm going to tell you something kind of embarrassing.
Yeah.
I had to fight tears off watching that video. Matt, that is what a college football coach is supposed to sound like. That is what a leader does. Matt, can you imagine what Matt Rule would have done at halftime of the SMU game we just watched? Not, hey guys, I'm way disappointed, and I need you guys to stick to the scheme. Oh my gosh, that was after Nebraska was up 33-0. They're getting coached like that.
No.
I'm gonna be honest. One thing Matt Rule is brilliant at is PR. That clip coming out this week is for a reason. But I gotta tell you, it got me. It got me. I need Matt Rule to come back to his true love. I need him to dump Nebraska. I need him back in Waco. I miss it, Matt Mosley. Am I overreacting?
Yes, you are. And I mean, the problem with Rule, he gives such a great speech, and the results have not yet been there. The thing I like about that, I'm glad you showed our folks that, because to his public stuff that comes out where he's at news conferences, there is a car salesman, and we love car salesmen, by the way. Go to Alan Samuels, my man Ted Teague. But there's the stereotypical, there's a little bit of too much polish to some of his press conferences. And so you wait for those genuine type moments. Now, whoever filmed that, in Rule's defense, that didn't really seem to me like the filming of a
most of the time you couldn't even see what was going on.
Yeah, that did not. I don't even know if that was supposed to get out. I think he's probably fine that it did, but I think that's a good pure moment of him. I think what he wouldn't like about that probably is, it wouldn't be a great fit at Baylor. I mean, he was a great mission fit, as they like to talk about. And he came from parents who'd been in the ministry and missionaries. I think the F-bombs and stuff are probably a better fit at Nebraska than they were at Baylor.
Doing that at Baylor. I think he was doing that at Baylor.
Yeah, I'm not. Also, he probably was, but I'm just saying Baylor would have not put that out there. Yeah.
The one way that Dave Aranda and Matt Rule are alike is there has now been twice that the cameras have cut to Dave Aranda, and I've seen him use the same word. So it's not a language problem. I think for me, it's a again, biggest and most jarring red flag from this past Saturday for Baylor for me is coming out and looking unready to play in quarter one. We talked about it yesterday. And I just, you need that, dude. You need that. You need someone who talks and leads like that. And as we've, it doesn't have to be Dave Aranda. I think you were the one that said this yesterday. Who on staff is capable of doing that?
Well,
I'll tell you, I think Dave Aranda should hire Taylor Young. But, we will see.
Well, I don't know. I think there's plenty of juice over there and guys that'll get in people's faces. And one thing I noticed with Wade Phillips when he followed Bill Parcells is it's funny. We ask for certain things and we want to, but I promise you, if Dave Aranda started changing who he was, and I'm sure he's capable of jumping their rears at times. I do think that he is capable, but we would turn around and call him a fraud if he suddenly changed who he was. So yeah. I don't want that. I think, separate of Aranda, Rule, I think he's a great college coach. I think he's potentially a great college coach. I think year 3 at Baylor, year 3 at Temple, he was on the verge of greatness. Now, if he can get Nebraska back to 9 or 10 wins, right, something they haven't had since the days of Pelini. Everybody was ready to run Pelini out of there, and they were actually winning 8 or 9 games a year, and it wasn't good enough, and it's never even been to that level since then. Right now, I would say, yeah, I do. I love the guy. I really do. But he's also, there's some salesman to him. Yeah.
When I watch how Baylor's defense has performed for 2 weeks, knowing we have a defensive head coach, and then I see that clip of Matt Rule.
Yeah, I hear you.
If he's going to drop back, you put that quarterback on the ground. And if my standard's too high, leave.
Yeah.
That's what I hope was said at halftime of Baylor SMU. Last thought for you, a couple Baylor notes. One of these you sent to me, one of them everybody's kind of seen today. Sawyer Robertson was named the AP National Player of the Week. So good continuing buzz for our guy, as we talked yesterday about the need for a Heisman campaign to get going. And then you sent me this. I thought this was interesting. And I know this text is a little small on your screen, but I'll talk us through it here. Kelly Ford puts out their most deserving rankings, which has nothing to do with how good we think you are based on the eye test or, your it's all about who have you beaten who would be the most deserving right now to make a playoff. So obviously that's why like a team like USF here is number 3 because they have 2 ranked wins, not because anybody actually thinks they're the 3rd best in the country, right? You see Auburn there at 7, which helps propel Baylor down there. You see that BU right above the Matt Mosley logo is at 19. A little lower than I might expect for Baylor, but again, resume for Baylor, if you can take care of business in the Big 12, not in such a bad spot.
No, and right now, and I saw another thing that had like projected win totals for some of the teams, and it's really interesting because, you know, it's like Iowa State right now is sort of being viewed as a team that could possibly like is good enough to run the table. I don't see it. I don't think they're great enough on either side of the ball to do that. And the truth is, the great thing is, now you're right, Baylor's probably going to lose a conference game or two because right now they can't stop people. Maybe that'll get better, but it's a lot to ask of the offense. Right now, they really do need to score 35 to 40 points every week to have a shot with that defense. And they got Utah coming in. Let's remember they got Arizona State coming in. What's fun to me is we now can start to formulate some thoughts on these other teams and like what it means to the schedule. And the weird thing is, no matter how good or bad we think Texas Tech is, it's hard to get it through your mind, isn't it? We know the Bears have to go to Fort Worth. It's very crazy to get it through your mind that those Texas Tech Red Raiders aren't walking through the door this year.
Right.
I mean, how do you go out there to Lubbock and play those guys and push them around? And that was where they flipped the season and saved Aranda and saved everything. And then Tech's not even on the schedule. It is a very strange thing. And it's a very weird, again, it's hard to make these schedules, especially with all these new teams thrown together. But you can't have a situation where Baylor, where they stop. I mean, it's like they're every year right now, I feel like they're playing Cincinnati, right? And I'm like, nobody gives a hoot about Baylor and Cincinnati, yet Cincinnati's always showing up on the schedule, at least from the start, the last couple of years. Goodness gracious.
By the way, I got credentials to that game, so that is the game I would like to be on site and call into the Green and Gold Game Day show. We'll have to figure out how to make that work. Matt, though, what's fun about what you're saying is based on how Arizona State and Kansas State have played so far this season, and it's a limited sample size, right? Teams get better after week 2. But those are actually the 2 games I think Baylor should feel okay about. The games that are on Baylor's schedule that are a little frightening at this moment in time are Utah, which is going to be here at home, and then on the road at TCU. But you dodge Iowa State, who looks really good. You dodge Texas Tech, who could be really, really good. You dodge BYU. I don't think BYU is going to be quite as many wins as they were last season, but they've looked good. Freshman quarterback looks pretty good. I mean, they haven't played a tough opponent yet, but like I think you are still in a pretty favorable place, even if you drop the game to Utah, you drop a game to Kansas State. Like I think Baylor should still be top 2 or 3 in the conference when all is said and done, just based on the opponents on the schedule. It's nice to have you at UCF on the schedule. It's nice to have Cincinnati on the schedule. It's nice to have Houston on the schedule. Like those should be wins for Baylor. And you never want to overlook any opponent in the Big 12 conference, but I think the schedule is shaping up nicely for Baylor.
Last thing I wanted to say about Baylor is that I do think Baylor's going to get behind Sawyer and push him, and will have a nice, and of course it has to sort of, but I mean, I think I may have been a little too harsh in some areas. I kind of think with the new uniform, with the chrome helmets and the black and some of the fun things they've tried to do, it's probably, they're going to get behind Sawyer. And I don't know if my point came across. I don't know how but what I really mean is that I wish this head coach, like, had a better understanding of what it could mean to really let some of his big time players be featured more, interviewed, featured nationally, all that kind of stuff. Like it's not about anybody from Baylor. Like I think they're going to surround this guy, and I think there'll be if he continues playing like this, there'll be an orchestrated, really well done Heisman push. It's this head coach and his sort of apathetic opinion of the media. Have I taken any of that personally? A little bit, but that's really where I see the issue. Yeah.
What you're saying is you also miss Matt Rule.
Personally, how do you not miss coaches like Art and Matt who I talked to constantly and had an understanding that the media could be. I mean, both those guys. Honestly, Art to a lesser extent. Rule was masterful with the media. Dave could care less about the media, and that's fine. Like personally, his refusal now to even do, whether it be David or me or any of us, like to basically not do any of those kinds of things. It's weird, but that's up to him. Where I don't like it is when his approach, I think, might undermine maybe some of the things with the program. Like if he had a better opinion of the media, it could help the program. Not me personally. I mean, has that bugged me about him personally? Sure. But I think he's brilliant, by the way. And now that he survived when I thought he was going to get fired and he should have been fired, man, I just want him to keep building and to keep being the head coach. Even though, again, he's got an utter sort of disregard. I don't think he hates the media. I just think he doesn't care about the media. Like, it's like he has a different mindset. Like, for instance, Parcells, I don't know if he loved the media, but he loved using the media. Same with Saban. Even Belichick, to a certain extent, understood that. Like Dave has an utter disregard for the media. And I'm saying that's separate than any way I think about him personally. Would I like to know him better? Yeah. Because the few times he's let down his guard, like around me, you're just like, dude, if you were like this with everybody else, like it would help him immensely. And yet he doesn't care. And I almost admire that. I almost admire how little he cares, because what it says about him is that he's a pretty genuine person. And I think that's to be praised. All right, let's get into it. We got Cowboys, got a big guest coming up in this hour. And then I got some NFL things to launch into with Scotty. Let's do that next.
Are you ready to take control of your health? At 4U Health, we believe wellness and lab testing should be accessible, inclusive, and yes, fun. With our tech-powered at-home lab test, you save time and money while feeling your best. Say goodbye to long waits and office visits. Check your health on your own terms with 4U Health. Visit 4uhealth.com today and free yourself from traditional medicine. That's the number 4uhealth.com. Get ready for epic savings at Best Buy. Right now, you can save up to $700 on select Alienware and Dell gaming products. Perfect for leveling up your gaming experience. Plus, grab the latest Android Google Pixel at an unbeatable price. Don't miss these incredible deals. Shop now at bestbuy.com and upgrade your tech today. At Fullwell, we bring together the expertise of registered dietitians, MDs, and OBGYNs to give you the best fertility support. Our research-backed bioavailable formulas are crafted with your health in mind, ensuring the highest quality and safety. From preconception to pregnancy and beyond, we exceed industry standards with independent testing for harmful contaminants. With our comprehensive practitioner directory, personalized care is always within reach. Fullwell, your trusted partner on your fertility journey. Visit us at fullwellfertility.com. Experience the perfect blend of exquisite craftsmanship and life-changing technology with Gevi. Every product is built with precision, featuring specialized parts that ensure durability, efficiency, and safety. We put every machine through 6,000 rigorous tests to guarantee long-lasting performance. With cutting-edge technology and a commitment to energy efficiency, Gevi makes your life easier, greener, and more convenient. Upgrade your everyday with Gevi. Visit us at gevi.com to discover more. That's gevi.com.
Have you ever watched true crime television and wondered, how did they get that story?
I can show you. I was a producer for 48 Hours on CBS News.
In my exclusive tell-all book, I'll take you where no audience has ever gone before. Don't miss out. Secure your copy of Killer Story: The Truth Behind True Crime Television today. Available everywhere books are sold.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. We use the finest materials like Italian top-grain leather, known for its durability and luxurious feel, and apply meticulous attention to detail in every piece we create. Our replicas are crafted with the same care and precision as the originals, but a price that makes them accessible. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
At Covers & All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. Using advanced tech fabrics that are 100% waterproof, UV tear, and abrasion resistant, we ensure lasting durability with hand-sewn double-stitch seams. Our commitment to quality, precision engineering, and customizable options is unmatched. With vertically integrated operations and express shipping, we deliver premier protection at affordable prices. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
We haven't been looking for you. Wake up.
Hellhound Country, available anywhere you get your podcasts. Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com.
Mosley Show, Rogue Media Network, Scotty Swingler alongside. I'm getting ready to head out to Rangers this evening. Rangers and Brewers get it on, and that'll be exciting. Brew Crew really, really good this season. In fact, best team in baseball, and Rangers beat them last night 5-0 with the young Hellman hitting a grand slam. First grand slam of the season for the Rangers. One of only a couple of teams left that had not hit a grand slam this season. At all? That seems crazy to me. Maybe just at home, maybe not at all, but they did hit a grand slam last night, and he accounted for all 5 runs as the Rangers take down the Brew Crew. So that'll be exciting to watch. And then a couple of things we didn't get to in Campus Confidential. Scotty, Colorado, Deion Sanders, and a reminder that we do have Nick Harris, the really good beat writer for the Star Telegram, coming on to talk Cowboys. And that'll be coming up in, just about 10, 15 minutes from now. And we'll share that with you. So we got to be a little quick here. But Colorado has decided to start Ryan Staub, the starting quarterback at Houston. And Scotty, to me, and good on Deion here, because you got like a 5-star guy in this Julian Lewis, and his Salters, who had been at Tennessee, then went to Liberty, and had a lot of credentials and everything. And either whether these guys are banged up or we're not playing that well or whatever, I think it says a lot about Dion that he's willing to go with a guy who just has stuck with them, has not been named. You know, he's gotten a little bit of playing time in the past, but I mean, think about being in Shadur's shadow.
Yeah.
And you're wanting to play, but basically no one paying any of attention, and how easy it would have been to go in the portal, to at least maybe even go play at a lower level of football. And the guy stayed, and Dion puts him in that last game, and he comes out and he goes like 7 for 10 for, I don't know, 130 yards or something and a touchdown. And now he's going to go start in this Colorado game against Houston. And I think these two teams, Scotty, are pretty evenly matched. I think Willie Fritz certainly has Connor Wigman, the former A&M quarterback. That's an interesting quarterback. And right now, people are predicting that that Houston could end up with like 5 or 6 wins in the conference, which is, I don't know, I think way more than they had last year.
Yeah, and yeah, you're right. And this switch that Dion seemingly has made so quickly, I think indicates why he's going to continue to be successful. I think I've heard this myth this past year, and even before last season, to be honest with you, that like Dion can't coach at this level, and he's riding on the coattails of blah blah blah. And if he loses Travis Hunter and Shadur Sanders, like what are they going to be? And I think what you're seeing in his approach is, dude, this is a guy that's committed to winning, and in my opinion, it's a guy that knows how to win. So I don't know how Colorado's season is going to turn out. I don't know if this is a good sign or a bad sign, because either this means that Salter and Lewis are just massively disappointing, or it means this other kid, it just looks better in practice. Obviously looked great Saturday. And Dion's like, I don't care about the name on the back of the jersey. I care about the name on the front of the jersey. Right. And that's good. Like, this shows his commitment to win now, to not have anything else be the priority. And this is why I think, even if Colorado has a down year this year compared to last year, which is likely, like if they make a bowl game, 6 or 7 wins, I think that's about what you could expect this season. I don't think they stay down long. I think they're going to continue fighting for the top half of the conference.
All right, staying in college football, did you see Sark? I mean, this was an odd thing yesterday.
Oh, with the Arch Manning thing?
Yeah, and he was trying to kind of embarrass a reporter, kind of almost sounded like a young reporter, and because it sounded like the reporter was a little bit nervous in asking it. I think it was a fair question. Some of the video has revealed when Arch is throwing passes, whether it be on the sideline or even in games or whatever, wincing after throwing the pass. And so it's led some to wonder, is he okay? Is he injured? Is something going on with him? And when he was asked about it, the question was asked, it appears that Manning appeared to have throwing pains, which is a weird way to phrase it. But Sark said, according to who? Arch said that to you? And his response to it, and again, this is, when I say wincing, grimacing in pain. Some of the videos going around that seem to be like when he's throwing the football, he's in some level of pain. And to which, and I think, just so you know the play in question, it was a throw that Manning short hopped to receiver Ryan Wingo over the middle during Texas's 38-7 win over San Jose State. And I was watching during the first half of this game, people tweeting, what's going on with Texas? What's happening? And so I was like, oh, they must be off to a kind of a rough start in this game. And so he was asked after the game if he was having any shoulder issues, and Manning said, no, I've got to make that throw. Wingo is open, ran a good dig route. When asked Saturday if Manning was dealing with any injuries, Sarkisian said, I don't know. That's news to me. Yesterday, Sarkisian made the odd comment. He said, I've never filmed any of you guys when you're using the bathroom. So I don't know what faces you make when you're doing that. I'm sorry, what? Like they're asking him about cameras revealing his starting quarterback grimacing after a throw. And I've watched this clip a couple times, Scotty, and like he's kind of proud of it. There's a little bit of I've dropped one. It was so weird that I thought it was like one of those AI things. Like people have
right. Your guy Ashley Hodge likes to put one of those out.
What's that?
Your guy Ashley Hodge, who we had on the show, he likes to put those out sometimes.
Yeah, I thought it was a weird AI moment, but that was really something. I thought that was weird that he, first of all, that's something he would think of.
Bizarre.
I mean, he's a brilliant guy, and he's done a good job at Texas. No, he's also kind of a weirdo.
So two things. One, he's kind of like Belichick. Like when we say he's brilliant, we're talking about like schematics on a football field. But then when it comes to interacting with other humans, there's like something that misfires. Like Belichick's a more dramatic example than Sark, but I think Sark has a little bit of that. But two, Matt, I'm going to make a prediction. Because I heard analysts on ESPN asking if Arch was dealing with something after the week 1 loss to Ohio State. Because here's a guy that if there's nothing else about a Manning, what we should know is that their mechanics are going to be absolutely fundamentally sound. And Arch's, especially against Ohio State, were not. He was not planting his feet correctly on most throws. And there was a lot of that weird sidearm delivery that doesn't even look like how he threw a football last season, right? So to this reporter's credit, I think she asked a very good question. I wish maybe a more seasoned reporter who Sark wouldn't have told off would have asked the same question, because my prediction is I think that comment by Sark actually reveals that there is something to this question. And maybe I'm being a conspiracy theorist here, but I think you don't react with kind of this snarky, almost vitriol, I would say perhaps defensiveness, unless she is probing at something that is at least also a question in his mind, if not something that's absolutely true. So my prediction is by the end of the season, maybe in some story that will come out before next season, even next August, we're going to hear, Arch Manning was actually dealing with a small tear in his throwing shoulder. Kind of like when Sawyer Robertson came in and played in 2023, and he did not look good. And we found out after the fact, he had like 2 kind of minor injuries that were messing him up. I think there's some truth to this.
All right. It's a story that the Mosley show will continue to monitor. We'll keep an eye on it. And Scotty, if you want a more seasoned interviewer to ask that, then let's send me down there. I'll just show up. I'm certainly more seasoned. I don't know if that's a good thing or anything. Okay. Older is really the word I'm looking for. It is time though. Nick Harris is a really good young beat writer, covers the Cowboys for the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, and he and I broke down a lot of areas of Cowboys as they get ready for this Giants game on Sunday. And there's some things I want to address with him and that we'll be reacting to. Nick Harris, Cowboys beat writer for the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, joins the Mosley Show next.
Transform your workspace with Hanomi Ergonomics. From adjustable chairs to standing desks, we provide solutions for comfort and productivity, whether at home or in the office. Improve your posture, reduce strain, and work smarter. Visit us at hanomi.co today. That's HINOMI.co today. Unlock a world of convenience with Mosley Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. Each box is tailored to your tastes. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mulleybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. Unlock your full potential with On It, your go-to for premium supplements, fitness gear, and wellness essentials. Whether you're training hard, recovering faster, or just looking to feel your best, On It has the tools you need to perform at your peak. Visit Onnit, that's ONNIT.com, and elevate your mind, body, and spirit today. At Rolls Rolla, we don't just sell wallpaper, we create cohesive, cozy spaces. Our deep understanding of design means every pattern, color, and texture is carefully chosen to complement your home. Plus, we use advanced technology and water-based inks for vibrant, eco-friendly prints, ensuring a healthier environment. Visit rollsrolla.com to transform your space today. That's ROLLSROLLA.com today.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious. Find your blend at hempdelicious.com.
At Tusain's, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit Tusains.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.
Ready to bring your vision to life? At Small Rig, every idea, design, and product is inspired by you, the creator. With our industry-first under co-design mode and the Dream Rig free customization project, we unite with global creators to turn big dreams into reality. Whether it's a cage rig or mount, Small Rig's versatile gear is built to elevate your craft. Small Rig, where your creativity meets our innovation. Go to smallrig.com.
Calling all Marvel fans, get Marvel Unlimited and unlock over 30,000 comics featuring your favorite heroes and iconic stories, all available to read anytime, anywhere. Whether you're into classic tales or the latest adventures, there's something for everyone. Don't miss out. Head to marvel.com/unlimited today and start your Marvel journey now. At Angel Bliss, we believe every parent's journey is a beautiful adventure. Our mission is to make it joyful and stress-free with thoughtful, safe, and innovative products. Born from a love for family, we promise peace of mind for parents and comfort for babies. From playtime to bedtime, every Angel Bliss product is designed with care, reliability, and a style to nurture the special bond between parent and child. Angel Bliss, creating happy memories, one baby at a time. Visit us at angelbliss.us. Angel Bliss.
Time now. Nick Harris, Fort Worth Star-Telegram, joining us. Nick on his alleged off day. I think he's already done one interview. He'll be with me. Then he has to do another podcast, Nick. So the grind never stops. But nice to get just a little bit of a mini break right out of the chute after a long training camp and everything. And the Cowboys. That isn't it interesting when they lose, and so there's the negative side of that, yet they played well enough to kind of give the fans hope. And boy, back when I was doing the show with Galloway in the day, we had a name for it, like moral victories. It was like I think it was like a loss win, we would call it. But there were enough things that happened that were positive that seemingly they can build on some of those things. What as they turn the page now, you heard from Schottenheimer yesterday. What seems to be the theme, and what's the biggest point of emphasis this week as they get ready for the Giants?
To that point, Matt, I am 90% of the time not a believer in moral victories. I don't think those exist. The loss in the loss column still counts the same as the 41-7 and 34-6 beatdowns they took to Philadelphia last year. It still counts the same. But overall, I think in this particular case, I think this might be where the 10% comes into play for me. I think there is a moral victory you could take out of this week 1 loss. I mean, to be within 4 points of that team, sure, you had opportunities to win that game. CeeDee Lamb's drops, Miles Sanders fumble. If you take a few of those things away, that's a much different result. But I think, you talk to this team, Schottenheimer was very he emphasized quite a bit that he does not believe in moral victories, that they have to win at the end of the day. But I think there is a lot of energy coming out of that game compared to what it could have been, had it been, had the Eagles covered, let's say that. It would have been much different feeling in that locker room after the game, a much different feeling in Frisco yesterday walking around. They feel pretty good about this team, but they felt pretty good about this team coming in. And I think it's starting to kind of strengthen that belief as they move forward into the year.
It was interesting. We always loved that first Sunday of the NFL, but there was something about, and it's not like the first time we've watched a former Cowboys player, but I can't quite remember like with this much anticipation. Like even when Zeke went to the Patriots and other things like that, when waiting for Micah to come into that game the other day for the Packers. And I get it. You hear from fans, both when you do your podcast and you're writing for the Star Telegram, like, hey, let's move on. And there's probably even part of you that's a little sick of the Micah thing. It was like every day of coverage at training camp. But you also know with him coming back, the story is going to kind of hang around. Yeah. And whether it's Kenny Clark for the Cowboys or Micah, there's just this cloud or this story's not going to go away. What was it like for you to somebody that you thought was going to be the star player for the Cowboys for so long, to see him for the first time in an opposing uniform? And because it's funny, you kind of think what it might feel like, but you having been around the team now every day for several years and been around Micah and gotten to know him, what was that experience like for you? And what did you think of his first game performance for the Packers?
It was weird. It was definitely weird seeing him in that green and gold. It's not something that you expected coming into the year, and much less coming out of the season last year. You think about that Washington Week 18 performance he had last year. I think he had 2 sacks in that game. And it ended up being the final game he played as a Cowboy. And if you had told me that when we walked out of AT&T Stadium that day, I would have said you were crazy. And, here we are. It was definitely strange, and he had limited opportunities in his first game with the Packers. He's still ramping back up to play speed. You could see that. But you can also see the type of impact that he is going to have in that pass rush for Green Bay. I will say it was interesting when I was talking to beat reporters that cover the Packers right after this trade happened, and they were saying, man, this is going to be a huge addition to the pass rush. They've had issues at times getting to the quarterback. This is really going to be able to help that. But at the same time, man, it's a big loss losing Kenny Clark. And I wonder how they can fill that run game. And so, they didn't have any issues in the run game against Detroit, against that really talented running back tandem of David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. They held them pretty quietly. I'm going to be keeping an eye on that as the season goes on. But if you're asking me, this defense for the Packers is 1-for-1 with Michael Parsons.
Yeah, watching him track down Goff and then just watch, you're reminded of the fun. He's just a beast. It's like the combination of that much power and that much speed. And Nick, earlier today you were monitoring. You all always do a great job of this. Jerry speaks so much. You got to kind of be, nimble, right? And you got to account for everything he's saying out there. But I did get a kick out of him saying something like, his back looked like he was holding up pretty well. And he said, I say that with a straight face, which when Jerry says, and I'm not trying to be triter, I say that with a straight face, he's admitting he's taken a little poke is what it seemed like to me. I saw your quotes about it. I didn't hear Jerry actually say it live, but to me, it sounded like a little playful poke at Micah.
Yeah, it was. There's no way anybody could say it with a straight face, right? Just because that was the quote-unquote excuse at training camp. But he didn't break. I guess his voice inflection did not change when he was saying that. He was saying, "Yeah, his back looked great." I say that with a straight face, and he just kept rolling. But overall, we'll see what that back looks like in Week 4. It is quickly approaching.
Okay, and just monitoring what Schottenheimer is most focused on this week. If you think about it, the opponent, and you can only control your own team, but it's hard not to see, you got the Giants already all hell breaking loose. Who's going to be their quarterback moving forward? It's not often we think of the Cowboys as like the picture of stability, but in comparison to some teams, they sort of are. What do you think? And I thought that was interesting. Brian said something about what did he say? The Marty rule is midnight, but that game the other night, because of the weather delay, they played so late, so they didn't have the midnight rule. So we're starting to see, as he gets into the season, it wouldn't be interesting, Nick, you got in this pace with him, this head coach, during training camp, and you sort of know what he's like, but you don't truly get to know a head coach until they get a couple of black eyes, or you struggle during the season and see what they're like. So far, it seems like Schottenheimer's going to be really consistent and really process-oriented. I guess I would say that part of who he is, Dak really seems to be leaning into, he likes. So far, so good, right? As far as the players sort of buying into his approach.
Yeah, one thing I'll say about Brian Schottenheimer, I did this article in the Star Telegram Quick Pub last week, and I talked to all the head coaches that he has worked under in his NFL career, or all the ones that are still with us. And Dan Quinn mentioned, had a quote in there that I thought was really representative of Brian Schottenheimer and kind of the guy that we've gotten to know over the course of the last few months. And he said he has a really strong inner game. He's been through it all. He understands what it looks like. Nothing is going to take him off guard. And when I was talking to Bill Cowher mentioned the Micah Parsons situation. He's like, you see how he's handled that situation with grace. He's handled it with step-by-step. Not one time at training camp, every day he was asked about Micah Parsons. Not one time did it look like it was affecting him or, bugging him. He understands the business, and I think he gets it. That's not only a product of him being Marty Schottenheimer's kid, but it's also a product of him being in coaching for 28 years, and he understands it. So, when that adversity comes around, I'm with you, Matt. I am curious to see how he responds. You have the culture building that you do in the off season. You have the ping pong table in the locker room or whatever the hell. Mm-hmm. But what happens when you lose 4 games in 5 weeks? What happens with that? Does the ping pong table stay in the locker room, or do you put books in the locker room? What changes? And so I am curious to see how Schottenheimer does attack some of the adversity that, will certainly come at some point this year. It's a tough schedule. It's going to happen where they lose a couple in a row that, maybe that they shouldn't. But, until then, I think what he has done so far, how he has approached, this first loss against the Eagles, it's been pretty standard of what we'd expect from him.
Okay, and you guys asked him about George Pickens and his relatively small part in that game plan, it would seem. At least Dak didn't go his way a lot. I think historically, he's a guy you can kind of throw to in traffic. You let him go make a play. From the way Schottenheimer answered that, do you think that'll be a point of emphasis moving forward? Hey, we need to continue to get – and by the way, you see the good and bad, don't you? It's like players show who they are. He made that one great play away from his body with his hands, and he kind of came back and made the play on the ball. And then he makes the play where he throws a dude down and gets a unsportsmanlike penalty. You saw it with Jalen Ramsey. I mean, getting in a fight during a game, and again, maybe sometimes people feed off those kinds of things, but those, you are who you are, and those things kind of follow you around. And I think Pickens has to remember the officials know about his reputation for how he behaves on the field and all of that. Now, all that aside, though, do you kind of feel like the Cowboys are going to make that a real point of emphasis to get him even more involved?
Yeah, I think it will happen in week 2. going into week 1, they were really trying to attack that cornerback 2 for the Philadelphia Eagles. It started out as a Dorian Jackson. It ended up being DeCorian Bennett after Jackson got hurt. And that's why I think you saw so much CD production, is because he was the one that was matched up against that CB2 most of the time. And whenever Quinyon Mitchell was over on George Pickens, then they looked away from him. You could see Dak's reads not even accounting for George Pickens at times whenever Quinyon Mitchell was lined up against him. I don't know if it was necessarily a game plan thing, because I think there were some issues that George Pickens had with effort in that game against the Eagles. There were some times where he knew that the ball was not coming to him, and whether it be blocking or, route running, deceive route running, he wasn't putting enough on film that I thought really could have, affected the receiving game as a whole. But I think you can expect more production out of him going into week 2. It is a bad secondary for the Giants. I mean, they've added Paulson Adebo, but it feels like every time they try to patch up that secondary issue with a Band-Aid, it somehow extenuates and gets worse. And that was kind of the issues that you saw against the Commanders with them as well. So I am curious to see what his production looks like going into week 2. I think it will be stronger.
Yeah, and a guy in a contract year, that's the last thing you expect to be saying after week 1, that he put some weird things on film as far as effort is concerned. And let's not act like Mike Tomlin wasn't asked about very similar things. Now, again, does that define his whole season? No, it doesn't, but it's something that bears watching. Nick Harris from the Fort Worth Star-Telegram joining us on the Matt Mosley Show, Rogue Media Network. And Nick, I think Dak impressed a lot of people. I think when you have as many different sort of injuries as he's had over the years, you watch some of these other quarterbacks, even McCarthy, last night. I mean, certainly Allen and Lamar Jackson put on a show the other night. But one of the things we're looking for from Dak at age 32 is movement in the pocket. And I thought that was a good sign the other night, that he wasn't, barely sacked at all. And even that time, he saved his team 13 yards by escaping the pocket. Again, he's probably moved out of the time, kind of like Rodgers did, in terms of that he's going to really hurt a team with his legs. But his ability to move in the pocket and escape and buy himself time, I think that's very, very important. And we saw some really good signs in that area against the Eagles.
Yeah, very encouraging. And I think about the play where he shed Jordan Davis off of his back, and that's probably the one you're talking about, and he was able to roll to the left and find a receiver downfield. That was big. That's big to see, especially coming out of this first game. It's the first time we've seen Dak Prescott since he tore that hamstring last year against Atlanta, and you wonder about the mobility issues. And especially, Mike McCarthy said last week on the Pat McAfee show, I guess he's doing a weekly hit or whatever these days, and he had mentioned that, coming into this big contract for Dak Prescott, there was kind of an intentional effort around, limiting his mobility. It's because he's going to have to last throughout the duration of this contract. That was the first time anyone actually ever admitted it, because it was all evident on film. You saw it in the first 8 weeks of the season last year. Dak's legs were considerably down compared to his first 8 seasons in the league. And so, it was good to see him using his legs on Thursday night. He even had a little scamper outside of the pocket and picked up some positive yardage. He looked a little slow. Don't get me wrong. He looked 32, but it was good to see his legs out and active and in space. That's going to be needed for this offense. If he's not using his legs, then this offense is not at 100% full potential, because when they are working off schedule, when they are working off script, that's when you really can, dive into the intricacies of CeeDee Lamb's game, of George Pickens' game, when they're able to work off schedule with Dak's legs. I think that's going to benefit them a whole ton.
Let me ask you about 2 players, because you've watched these stories pretty closely. Mozzie Smith, there seems to be an indication that nothing's going to change with him, and he's going to continue to be inactive. I mean, that's an interesting story to track, because he's a former first-round pick. And the other one is Jaden Blue, who there seems to be some thought that he could bring some juice, he could bring some speed, could be a very nice change of pace with the offense. But it's been suggested the consistency hasn't been there. And Schottenheimer's been upfront about that. If our whole thing's going to be about competition and you don't compete or you're not consistent, then I can't put you out there. and you can start with Mozzie. Where do you see this thing heading? And to me, it almost seems like if you're not going to play him, you got to start thinking about trying to get something for him. Is this sending a message with the hope that you can get something out of him, or is this setting up a trade situation? Where are you on Mozzie, and then where do you think things are with Jaden Blue?
Yeah, I'll start with Mozzie as far as trade value goes. I'm not sure you could get a whole lot for him at this point. And it's because he's had so many opportunities to put things on film. There have been public questions about his effort and his intention in the game and what he does behind the scenes. With all those questions abound in the film that he's put on tape, I'm not sure you could get a whole lot for him. I mean, maybe like a conditional 6th or a conditional 7th on the condition that he does actually play for a new team. But even on that same token, they do need the defensive tackle depth. Let's say Kenny Clark gets hurt. They are going to need Mozzie Smith. And that's the unfortunate reality of it. That's the unfortunate reality of that room that they've built at that one tech position. But I think with him, it's his leash is running out. And I don't think there is anything that Mozzie Smith can do that he hasn't already done. And I think there was hope going into the year, like, hey, okay, look, new system might be able to benefit him. Eberflus has done well with these defensive tackles in the past. Let's see if this works. And it didn't. And you saw that when he was playing well into the final preseason game, into the second half. And that spoke to the questions that this staff had about Mozzie Smith during training camp and the preseason. And then when he was on the inactive list, I think that just spoke to it a little bit more. On Jaden Blue's case, they want to see consistency out of him. Brian Schottenheimer said it pretty bluntly yesterday in the press conference. And, it was interesting because right around 53-man cut down time, I had someone in the building tell me, hey, Jaden Blue needs to have a good game in this final preseason game. And I was like, really? I kind of figured him as a roster lock. And I don't think it was necessarily he was on the cut line. I think it was more so like, hey, he's not this shoe-in RB2 or this shoe-in guy that's going to get 10 touches a game. I don't think I took that into account probably as strong as I should have, because then when that inactive list came out on Thursday night and Jaden Blue was on it, I thought back to that conversation and I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense a little bit. And so the consistency has been the big thing that's been talked about behind the scenes and now in the public by Brian Schottenheimer as far as what they want to see out of Jaden Blue. Does he get that opportunity this week? I don't think so, but I think he will get his opportunity. It's just a matter of when.
Do you think in these early days that Jerry's going to come out of every game telling us that Kenny Clark was the highest graded player?
yeah, he's going to be they're going to get 300 yards put on them on the ground one time this year. He's going to be like, look, but Kenny Clark, he was in there. He was making it happen.
Kenny was right where he needed to be. Yeah, the whole time. Well, and you always love the draft as well, and y'all do a great job. And you look at the film and break all that down, so you have one eye over on that. I've got a big Baylor audience, and the Bears took down SMU the other day. I know you had a lot going on this weekend. That was over on the CW. I know you love some of the shows on the CW, so maybe you had that thing on autoplay. But Sawyer Robertson just got named earlier today AP Player of the Week. Danny Cannell actually said right now he's maybe the best quarterback in the country, sort of the way he's playing. You know how this goes. From a Heisman standpoint, whether it be John Mateer, there's going to be some more blue blood type quarterbacks that probably get a little more push. But from what you've seen, obviously he had a really good run last year. And then he's off to a very hot start this year in games against Auburn and the big comeback win against SMU. Have you started to form an opinion on Sawyer Robertson, knowing kind of how he's played for Baylor?
It's always funny talking to draft analysts in like July, because everyone has their guy, quote unquote, that they think is going to have a big year, and start getting into the first, second round conversations. The one that was probably more used than not was Fernando Mendoza out of Indiana. And that was one that I was like, I don't get it. But Sawyer Robertson, I get that. And you hear Sawyer Robertson from a few guys, and those few guys are starting to get a little bit louder now. I've been a Sawyer Robertson guy personally. I thought that this system at Baylor this year was really going to be able to benefit him. returning some of the talent that they had from last year. Josh Cameron being a big one in that receiving game that I think really helps out Sawyer Robertson in the short to intermediate game. I like what Sawyer Robertson does. I love his poise. I covered him at Lubbock Coronado when he was a prospect coming out. And, Texas got involved with him late, but, Baylor was eventually when he hopped in the portal was the place that he wanted to end up going to. So I think with Sawyer Robertson, seeing that performance he had against Kevin Jennings, in comparison to the performance that John Mateer and Josh Hoover have had over the course of the last couple of weeks, it was really encouraging to see, and I think it's a strong start to the year for Robertson. I want to see him build consistency, because that was the big thing you talk about with him last year, right? Is that, okay, yes, this is a good game, but then he would dip down, in the next week. So I want to see the consistency out of Sawyer Robertson, but I am very excited to see what he's going to look like in Big 12 play, because there's some interesting quarterbacks that he'll have to go head-to-head with.
Yeah, and in fact, I don't know where the Cowboys are that weekend, but if the Cowboys are in town, maybe you can see Hoover and Sawyer right up there in your backyard, and that would be fun. I did want to mention, because you have a love like I do for high school football, the passing of G.A. Moore on Friday at age 86. And I mean, other than Gordon Wood at Brownwood was amazing. I have his book signed, and I cherish that. And having met him at some point, and then GA, Nick was Coach Moore. His best friend is my great uncle Don Hendricks, who Don's 91 now. GA, I believe, died at the age of 86. But just we kind of, these guys are legendary. But there was a quality to G.A. Moore that he kind of had that John Wayne. He didn't really have to shout or holler or he was kind of that throwback, whether it be Bear Bryant or Tom Landry or something, of just, I think he could just glare at you and you got it. And so the fact that he won all the state titles at Salina, I think maybe 5 there, won a couple more at his alma mater, Pilot Point. Those two towns were right next to each other. And then at some point went over and helped Sherman, a larger school at that time. It's just fascinating, these guys' careers. And so I thought that was a major passing that we had in high school football. And I mean, there just aren't many of those out there.
Yeah, the Texas high school football landscape lost a legend last week for sure. 8 state titles. You mentioned all of his accolades at Pilot Point and Salina, and bringing both of those programs to the statewide spotlight, even Salina to the national spotlight back in the 80s and 90s. And that was really crucial for that program. And you see what they've built in the years since, and they've been able to get back to that state title stage this past season with Bo Bentley at quarterback. So it's G.A. Moore. I mean, when you talk to coaches at the Texas High School Coaches Convention every summer in San Antonio, and you just talk to them about influences, G.A. Moore gets brought up so much to these guys, even guys that are my age, 20s, 30s. There is still influence there that G.A. Moore has left and kept around the game. I was able to meet him a few years back when Phil Danaher took the all-time Texas high school football wins lead away from him. Phil Danaher was the head coach at Corpus Christi Cal Allen for so long and retired a couple of years ago. But G.A. Moore was able to attend that game where he saw his record fall. And so always a good man, and certainly revered here in the North Texas community, but overall in the Texas high school football community.
429 wins, and think what he lived to see. Salina, as you said, become sort of a, they have like breweries and nice restaurants and everything out there, right? And Prosper, which used to be tiny like that, is now massive, big time Class 6A football. It is remarkable. Well, listen, Nick, look forward to seeing you at the game Sunday. I'll be at Baylor Samford on Saturday. Put some eyes on the Heisman hopeful Sawyer Robertson, and then I'll come watch the Giants, and we'll see. I mean, it is kind of, it's funny a little bit, but also kind of sad to watch week 1 of an NFL season. And we see this in college football too. Right now we're seeing it with the Florida Gators, right? Like, you already see coaches and you're like, that guy has no chance to make it. either to the end of the season or he will get fired for sure.
Yeah.
And this Dayball thing seems a little bit like that. And I always find myself looking back and going, why did you keep him? Like, why? It's not like it's a buyout situation. It's not like a college buyout. It's like, if you kind of saw it going this way, like, why in the world did you not get at least a start? Because at least with a new regime, you have, like, even in Chicago, even as bad as that fourth quarter meltdown must have felt, I probably they saw enough to give them some hope moving forward last night.
Yeah, and I think with Dayball, I'm with you there. When your star receiver is beefing with you on the sideline in week one, that's never a good sign. It's never a good sign. So Dayball needs some wins, and he needs them quick. Sounds like Russell Wilson is getting the start on Sunday. I think that benefits this Cowboys defensive system. Obviously Schottenheimer has the experience with Russell Wilson. I think Jackson Dart brings a level of unknown that would have been a little bit of difficult to game plan for. But overall, I think the Cowboys get this done, and I think they cover the 5.5 point spread as it sits right now.
All right, Nick, I appreciate it. And man, I'll be out at Friday Night Football, Lake Highlands Flower Mound.
There
So
you go.
if you're looking for something Friday night, sounds like you've had a loved one just enter the Metroplex, so you may have your mind on other things, which is I think that's a great thing. But if you really want to see a spectacular couple of quarterbacks and group of wide receivers, Lake Highlands at Flower Mound. I may even get Todd Archer out there. You never know. I think that's his daughter's alma mater. So anyway, thank you, Nick. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Matt. Nick
Harris from the Fort Worth Star-Telegram joining the Matt Mosley Show on the Rogue Media Network. Man, been a lot of fun today. Lots to cover, lots of college football, and lots of NFL. And it is time to say goodbye. We will see you tomorrow. And by the way, it is The Landing. Thank you, Brazos Landing, for what you do. Thank you, Lindsay family, for everything. Get you some of the Bang Bang shrimp. Go by there and get you a chicken fried steak. Tremendous food, tremendous people. I love it. It is The Landing. It's how we say goodbye every day. And we appreciate the Brazos Landing and love the Lindsays as we get ready to move into our evening. We'll have full show on tap tomorrow and another exciting guest lined up for you. We'll see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock on the Matt Mosley Show.